How you guys doing today? Not so long ago, I created a post on my channel asking men in their 30s to give men in their 20s life advice. And I was just going through all those comments. I was going through the comment section and I saw pretty much dope advices, like dope life advices for young folks out there. Things that if you take heed to them, your life would turn out fulfilling. So, I'm just going to go through the top five, and if time permits, maybe I'll add two more. But for now, I want to go through the top five of those comments, and I'd read them out to the community, and hope you guys keep those life advices in the left palm of your hand. You don't want to eat with it with your right hand. You don't want to forget about it completely. You want to just use them, imbibe them, adopt them, and use it as a philosophy, to live by. So I'll go through them. Actually, I'm gonna share my page with you guys. So the very top five. Oh, I think I'm gonna need my glasses now. This is the post. Compliments of Lover's Guide. Men who are over 30, give one piece of advice to men who are in their 20s. It can be about anything. And the very first comment is from Sun God. I'm 31. Dudes, take your time. Trust in time. Don't rush your process. Money will come. The woman will come. Your desires will evolve. So don't put all your focus on things. Focus on you. You'll be alright. I lived by this when I was broke and bummy. Drugs and death were around me and opportunities were scarce. Don't default to the cycle. You got this. Well said, my brother. Well said. You can beat that. Well said. So trust in time. Time is there for you to utilize. Time is there for you to utilize. Time is not an unlimited resources. So you need to know how to use it. You need to know how to manage yourself, manage your time, and trust it. Even though especially when you're in your 20s, it could seem as if life is just so. I mean, time is so elaborate and so long because then your focus is not just as sharp as it should be. You still have to trust timing. Okay, you have to trust it and trust that the moment you have a solid grasp on what you want to do, time is on your side. Okay, and that's it's almost like a balance to it. All right, you know that time is not on your side, but you also need to understand that time is on your side because one of my one of my favorite analogy is the trade-off between space and time. You learn how to trade one for the other. You learn how to trade space for time, and you learn how to trade time for space. And as you proceed through your journey in life, you begin to learn how to balance things out. Okay? So keep in mind, all you have is time. Okay? It's one of it's the greatest resources you can have. If the government wants to punish someone, they make them do time. All right? When you go to work, you're punching for hours. Anything that you're working on, time is of the essence, but you need to learn how to make time work for you, so the trust needs to be there. Let's go to the next one. The next comment is from Equin Soldier TX. Oh, forgive me for the way I'm pronouncing it, by the way. So he actually has four lists here, and the very first one is never stay working in the place you hate. Absolutely, if you hate some place, just especially when you're in your 20s, especially when you're in your 20s and you're working in a place you hate. It also ties into the very first thing that we talked about as far as timing is concerned. What you have that's on your side is time. All right. In your 20s, you have the time to switch between jobs, to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. Now, when you get to your 30s, or when you get to your 40s, it becomes pretty much restrictive. You no longer have the luxury of moving around. Maybe by then you're now married, you have kids. You really can't move around anymore the way you used to move around. So 20s is where you spend the majority of your time just going around and trying different things until you find that job that you believe you can. Plant yourself in and grow with the job because the job has your best interest in mind. Always keep in mind, the company needs to have your best interest in mind. The same way you're coming in to work for the company needs to also, once the company realizes that you're there to grow with them, they need to start showing to you that we have your best interest in mind because we see that you want to grow with us. All right. So when you come to work for a company, you're taking care of the company. All right. When you stay in, the company also takes care of you. So it's like a two-way street. All right. You take care of the company and the company takes care of you. Let's see the second one. All right. The second one is focus on getting what you need before going for what you want. This is pretty direct. This is pretty direct. So it's all about focus. All right. Don't go about buying things you don't need. All right. Don't go about doing things you don't need. Don't go to places where you don't even have to because like it's, the key thing you have is time. It's time. So you have to focus on what you need. And deep down, human beings, we know what we need. It's ingrained in our survival capabilities. We know exactly what we need to do. However, we do something else because doing something else brings comfort. It gives you that dopamine jolt. It gives you that short term pleasure. So you want to get to the point where you can identify what you need from what you want and focus on that which you need. And then when you're done with that, if you have an extra time or extra resources, then you can focus on what you want. One of the ways to identify this or to streamline your way around this is to ask yourself, whatever I'm doing now, would it be beneficial to me or would it benefit me in the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? If the answer is yes, then go ahead and do it. But if the answer is no, then by all means, you still have to choose, right? Now, your 20s, maybe you can accommodate one or two things, I wouldn't say don't party, I wouldn't say don't, but always understand that for every action there's a reaction. You have to make a choice, and for every choice you make, there are consequences for it. So, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice those parties so that you can focus on what you need, or are you willing to just? Because you can always have a balance. By the way, you can always have a balance. So maybe you could party like now. I don't drink, right? I don't drink. I can count the number of times I drink in a year. All right, so maybe last year it was like 3 times. All right. And I'm not against drinking by any means. It's just I don't like what it does to me. I don't like the fact that it makes me function like I'm under the influence of anything, or anything that I don't like anything that makes me that takes me away from having control over what I do. However, If the occasion calls for it, maybe if the occasion happens once in 6 months, then I could have, you know, maybe a glass. I don't even drink up to a glass. But the point is, I always ask myself, do I need this? Is this beneficial for me in the future? If not, cancelled. I don't really have that much resources. One of the greatest things you can realize or identify as a grown man is that you don't have everything. Okay? As a man, you have unlimited resources. Therefore, you need to learn how to manage yourself in every ramification. You need to learn how to manage your time, manage your resources, manage your accessibility, manage people that have access to you, manage how much space you have to yourself, manage, how much bills you want to pay. You need to begin to understand that you don't have everything and you are not an unlimited resource. You're a limited resources. That's why someone once said that one of the greatest sin you could commit as a man is to not have a plan. You have to plan consistently. If you find yourself in a good place, good. Have a plan in place to keep maintaining that. If you find yourself in a bad place, have a plan in place to get yourself out of that bad place. Let's say the next one. Get right with God because tomorrow is never guaranteed. And then the fourth one. People get high every day. Save it for vacations, holidays, and weekend. Pretty straightforward. Don't get high every day. Save it for vacations, holidays, or weekend. Like I said, always manage yourself. Know when you want to do something. Don't just go about doing it every day because you want to have some form of control over yourself. You want to have some form of control over your habits. You want to have some form of control over things that happens around you because in actual sense, you really can't control everything. You can't control nature. You can't control your own. You can't even control how long you're going to live. However, you can control your mind. You can control what you think. And if you can control your mind, what you think, you can control what you respond to. You can control some things in your life, things that you can control. You get on top of them and you manage them. And if you see that you can control something, then you ignore it completely. And also, remember, put God first. Okay, very important. You always want to put God first because God knows things that you don't know. God has control over time. God has control over everything. So he can put you in places where you can get to. I say it this way. You as a human being, you can do something. Maybe you're the smartest guy on earth. Maybe you're the most intelligent guy on earth in the world. There's still a limit to how much you can reach. And now, what God does is God is like the multiplier effect. He multiplies your reach. He lets you reach out to more people. He let you become. He gives you access to places where you naturally wouldn't have access to. He puts you in places, and he can get you to jump the line. And they say God qualifies the called. He doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. So there are some places where he could put you in a room whereby you might think, oh, you're not worthy. But then when he puts you there, he will order your step in the right direction. Very important. And one of the reasons why most people are falling into chaos in this generation is because of the fact that a lot of people don't put God first. There's the absence of God in everything that we do. Because we think we have technology. We have all those things. We have medicines that can heal us. So we don't need God that much. And we don't even say that we don't need God, but our lifestyle shows it. Our lifestyle indicates it. We don't pray every morning. We don't pray before we go to bed. We don't thank God. Like if you wake up and you can stretch yourself, Be thankful to God. Some people wake up and they can't even move. They went to bed feeling okay, and then they wake up in complete paralysis. Maybe some people went to bed, they were okay. We've heard of all these scenarios, multiple scenarios of people going to bed, having a stroke or heart attack, and they never wake up. And there you are, alive, healthy, able to do everything, and you think it's just you. Always remember that God allows everything. God is in control of everything, and you can disagree with it all you want. Now, the fact that God is in control of everything doesn't mean that you don't have a role to play. You still have a role to play. You still have a role to play. Remember when God multiplied the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes? You still need to come with your 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes so God can multiply. Remember I said God is the multiplier effect. The lady in the Bible who the widow in the Bible with the gallons of oil, and the prophet told her, what do you have? Because her husband used to be a follower of the prophet, and the husband died. But before he died, he was already in debt. So the debt collectors, they came and they told the lady, we're going to have to take your kids because your husband was owing us money and you don't have a means to pay, because she was dead as broke. So she ran to the prophet, and the prophet told her, what do you have? And she was like, I don't have any money. What do you have? I don't have anything. What do you have in your house? I only have this gallon of oil. And the prophet said, go find multiple gallons, as much as you can. Lock yourself up in your house with your sons and start pouring from that little gallon into all the gallons. It sounds crazy. And she did that. And she was able to fill out all the gallons. And she kept pouring. The Bible says she kept pouring until all the gallons were filled. That was when the oil in that small gallon stopped. 2 things to keep in mind. Obedience is very important. As long as you understand and acknowledge God and you're obedient to His word or to His instructions, you will be fine. Second thing is that, again, back to the multiplier effect. God will not bless you with what you don't have. He will bless you with what you have left. Okay? God will not bless you with what you don't have. He will bless you with what you have left. What you have left is what God will multiply. So start taking inventory of everything that you have, because God won't bless you with what you don't have. He's going to use what you have. He's going to multiply it and make everything that you have left, through all the things that you've gone through, He's going to multiply it and make it a blessing unto you. All right. Thank you, Equinsoncha TX. Once again, forgive me for murdering that name. All right. The next one is, let me go in. So the next one is from S Mavia 133. And he says, loneliness is part of the male existence and experience. Don't get discouraged by that. Embrace it. I think that's a very profound stoic statement. I've seen a lot of people dread loneliness. And they have a reason to dread it. Because you're like, am I going to be alone? Am I going to be this? Am I going to be that? Now let's go back to the first question. Remember, time is something that you have. And if you can master yourself and master your timing, you can use it to your advantage. However, if you're around everyone else, now everyone else is pulling from your time. Hence, loneliness. You don't see it as loneliness. You see it as an alone moment. Think about all the great inventors, all the great writers, all the great prophets. They all had moments of being alone. Jesus Christ had to go to the mountain for 40 days. Moses had to go to the wilderness. Writers, philosophers, Socrates, Friedrich Nietzsche, Achilles, I can mention names. They all had moments when they separated themselves from the crowd so they could find their inner self. And then they now come out with greatness. So, loneliness is never an issue, it's never a problem. It's you not knowing what to do with those alone moments. That's the problem. That's what brings confusion. So once you find your focus, you don't ever see it as loneliness. Like, I pride myself on just being wanting to just, because I want to use my time for myself. I want to really invest my time in myself. So regardless of what's happening, you just see me, all right, I have to separate myself real quick. I have to like just move around, because for me to keep cultivating constant creativity in my mind, in my head, in my life, I need to be alone. Because one of the greatest enemy to creativity is interruption. Okay? One of the greatest enemy to creativity is interruption. And you can't be creative if you haven't mastered how to cope with your alone moment. In fact, I refuse to call it loneliness, because you're never alone. You're never alone. Number one, God is omnipresent. He's always there with you. Okay? And then, it's so many things looking at you. Your cell phone, this camera, it's an eye. It's looking at you. Okay? The camera is looking at me. Your mind, your thoughts. We are all connected with our thoughts and our mind. So you're never alone. It's your perception. So never see it as loneliness. See it as a lone moment. Let's go to the next one. The next one is Sankoff Imani 2899. Don't know everything, but learn a little about everything. Master and grow from them. Shalom. Shalom, brother. That's true. Don't know everything. You can't know everything, especially in your 20s. You want to be like, be poking your nose everywhere. You want to keep learning, because you don't know what you want to do in the long run now. Now, there are some people in their 20s who know what they want to do. There's some people who, right from childhood, they can tell that I want to be a musician. They can tell that. And there's some people who, they already know what they want to be from child, but the majority of men are still finding themselves in their 20s. So don't go ahead and know everything, okay? Just learn from everything. This is how I put it, okay? Because I have a lot of people in their 20s who work for me. And I tell them, at this stage of your life, you're a sponge. Okay? Take everything. Take everything. Take everything. Take everything. Take from this person, okay? Take from that person. Take from him. Take from her. Take from everyone around you. Learn this person's philosophy. Learn her philosophy. Learn what makes her think. Learn how this applies. Learn how you could use this thing. Learn from everyone. And then, as you keep growing older, you unlearn everything that you've learned so you can formulate your own philosophy of life. Okay? So, it depends on you completely. So, for example, in my 20s, I read tons of books. Tons of books. I just wanted to know everything. But then, in my 30s, now that I know what I want to do, I want to be a filmmaker in the longest run. I read books on filmmaking, on TV production. I read books on stories because that's what I do. I want to be a storyteller. I want to tell stories through speaking. I want to be able to tell stories through images. I want to be able to tell stories through motion pictures. So now, everything I read or everything I feel my subconscious revolves around that. But prior to that, I was reading everything because you never know what you want to do for the longest run in your early 20s or in your mid 20s or in your 20s in general. So, learn everything, and then as time goes on, you begin to focus on that one thing that you believe, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Let's go to the next one. And this is the fifth one that I'll be taking a look at. And it's from Balls. All right, you guys will have to forgive me with the way I'm pronouncing these names. It's from Balls 2278, and it says that have a hard moral compass. Know what you're cool with and what you aren't, and don't let the fear of alienating people prevent you from doing so. Have have a very strong moral compass. That's a very unique one. All right, you need to have your own identity, because when people know your identity and when they know your moral compass, they know what you accept and what you won't accept. The moment people know your morals and they know the philosophy you live by, they will know better not to bring some things to you instead of bringing some things to you and then now they're starting chaos. I believe that men are like straight arrows. Okay? Straight arrows. Our key responsibility is to be focused, to find a target and aim at that target. And once you aim at that target, you just keep going straight. That's your target. Now, if anyone wants to join you, they could attach themselves to you. They could come and join you, or they could do whatever. But you are going for that. And anything that stands in your way, you pierce through it. That's it. That's the analogy I can give you about this. Yeah. Formulate your moral compass. Formulate your moral identity. Formulate your own personality. Know the things that you will accept and know the things that you won't accept, and have it clearly stated. Okay, if you won't tolerate laziness in your life, that's it. I don't want no laziness conversation. If you won't tolerate lies, that's it. I don't want no lies around me. If you won't tolerate people who are not ambitious as you are, that's it. Have it clearly stated. If you don't want friends if you won't tolerate people that are lazy about their fitness or their wellness, have it clearly stated with the way you live your life. And people who are like that will just ignore you and they won't even come around you because it's clearly stated. And that's the code you live by. And that will save you so much time and so much argument and so much confrontation that you just don't need. So these are the top 5. The rest is still there. You could go into the comment section and see tons of great advices for young men. Go in, read everything. Don't just ignore it. They would help you. They will help you navigate your journey through life. Be extremely careful who you are or who you let around you. Keep grinding in the gym or whatever you do for exercise. It's a lot harder to get back into it once you've stopped. Wrap it up. some shit don't go away. So it's a ton of great advice. And go through it. Use them for yourself and use it to grow. All right. And if you have more, feel free to comment down there. And if you're a man and you're in your 30s and you have more great advice to share with the younger folks out there, feel free to drop it in the comment section. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because this channel is growing bigger and it's going to become much more better than what it is currently. And with your support, we'll be able to ignite the right population, the right community of people, and have a positive impact in the world. But I won't be able to do that unless you guys are subscribed to the channel and you share and comment on this post, or post like this. Until next time, I will see you in my next video.